World of YouTube. Oh, no. Dang nabbit. So today we're going over unsolved murder. Due to the fact that I went up to the Colonial Hotel in Gardner, Mass. On Betty Spring Road. Even though I guess that place was built in the 80s, I believe the land is haunted. Due to the simple fact that I had vibes going in that building. I mean, they did build it to look old, but doesn't mean something didn't happen in that area at the time. And not only that, believe it or not, I don't care. My wife saw a shadow figure running through the parking lot as I was doing a DoorDash. And I went and asked the desk clerk if they ever had any haunting experiences there. She didn't, but she said she had people seeing people in the second floor window of that building, but there is nothing up there. Maybe attic space, or just, I think it might have been built for looks. Other than that, there's a story that came up because I tried looking on the story I was told, and if anybody is a local in this area or has a better way of finding out, because they got a computer or whatnot, I don't know. I typed in a bunch of stuff and didn't get this article to come up. So if anybody has a better search than me, the original owners of the, as the clerk claimed, the front desk clerk claimed that the original owners of that Betty Spring Road Colonial Hotel were murdered. So when I looked it up, this came up. And this is the original Colonial Hotel, which is not, of course, the original. The setting now. This is downtown Gardner. Literally a Democratic, like the president run. I guess John F. Kennedy spent time here doing his, presidential candidation run. There's other people that were in this place too. But for some reason, they shut this down, or it could be still rightfully a apartment complex, let alone be after they shut the hotel down for whatever reason. Became like a senior living community. Then it went on to, housing, and that's where this story takes a twist, because of the simple fact that the person that was murdered here, not here, but murdered in Gardner, was living here in 1973. So this is the 50th anniversary. I don't know why people call it an anniversary, because a murder or anything in that missing person shouldn't be called an anniversary. Anniversary is supposed to be a celebration of greatness, not death or missing and blah blah blah. But anyways, yeah, this poor guy lost his life. His brother and a friend are in this article I'll bring up next, but this is one of them cases that is very undetectived, rightfully undetective poorly. It was just poorly, in my eyes, searched, let alone, done right in an investigation. So what had happened was these brothers were at a party. So I'm going to bring that up now. I just wanted to show this building. And this is Mike Twoheys. I want to murder his name, Twoheys. I want to say Twoheys, not Twoheys. This is the guy that wrote this article, but they don't have a picture of the guy either. But as this person, Craig, the brother, and the mother and the father, of course, the mother passed away in 1979. That really sucks. 1994, to find, any signs of the missing person. And they're saying they get closure, but I don't know how. One thing is, hopefully, if they're talking about closure, they got some DNA, genealogy. That's the only thing that will solve this, if there's any type of DNA left at the crime scene. But, of course, the poor investigation, I'm sorry, I don't like how this thing is and how it was done. And, yeah, the brother, and witnesses just... it's just crazy how this case has spent 50 years, and yet there was no true known witnesses besides the brother, and I highly doubt that he killed his own brother. But he went home early from a party. I'm going to do some mapping on this too to see what comes out of it, but then again, who knows what I can figure out from 73, because there's been a lot of changes in Gardner. And I used to work there for a year in the rubbish industry for waste management, so in the late 90s. But, no one in the building was interviewed. No one at that party was interviewed. Pretty much this article is about, the brother talking about he left, and there's a possibility that he went to a card game, and there's another possibility he went somewhere else, but what the hell is that? These are just rumors. Alright, if he was at a party all night and not anybody from that party was interviewed or had no information, there could have been a say-so stalker, let alone a person that just hated his guts. And that it wasn't even asked around town. Did someone dislike him this bad? Maybe, it does say, as his friend says, that he used to hang around a lot when they were kids, but he ended up, turning to the wrong crowd. And everybody knows what happens when you go into the wrong crowd. Yeah, the sinister things can happen, let alone you getting murdered by a, say-so, drug dealer, or who knows if he, snugged up on someone else's woman. These are the things and questions that are not in this article, let alone everybody, the brother talks about him being right a good guy, funny guy with jokes and, everything good about him. But when he started to turn in this bad crowd, and for what time he was alive, did anybody what kind of changes was happening? Because I'll tell you, man, when I've hung around with a lot of people, I still do, and some of them people, even family members, I watch dramatically change. And I've even watched one person lose all his independence. Alright? This guy I know, I ain't gonna say names, but I mean, this guy was hustling, doing the, nothing seriously illegal, but he was just a hustler, man. And it wasn't all bad stuff, but, it was just stuff that anybody could do to survive. Survival stuff. I'm gonna call it not illegal, but survival stuff. And now he's just lost all his independence. And it's sad to see this person this way. Because for one, the kid's younger than me. And I looked up to this kid, man. And he was just the definition of cool. And he could friggin', pretty much do almost anything, But now, man, it's just sad, like I said, because all his independence is gone. And when you fall into the wrong crowd, which what this person did, he fell into a wrong crowd, let alone just with a wrong person. Yeah, he lost all his independence, so changes are seen in a person. And I don't know if this guy lost that independence because, right, getting up in the wrong crowd. And back then, whatever drugs was on the streets back then, could he have just fallen into a deep, depression or whatever, or just not a care in the world type thing? Whatever it is, I mean, someone didn't see any changes, I guess, in this guy. But supposedly his brother here, he found some things in Mark's room in a Colonial Hotel at the time that led him to be concerned. But here we are not knowing what it is, of course. What was found. And if it leaves you concerned, yeah, that would lead more to be led into an investigation. So, I mean, for this, back then, not to take it full, and back then, of course, if, if an adult's an adult, and they become like this person, it's let alone the cops don't really care back then. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to throw all law enforcement under the bus, but there is a lot of stuff in cases that just completely disgust me because they don't do a proper thorough job. And I mean, I get it. Back then, there's not technology that we have today, but there's always that saving evidence. And sometimes it gets lost or discarded or blah, 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 whatever excuse they make. Or it just disappears because something sneaky's going down. But there's not a lot to go on this case. He leaves the party, he stays to a party, he leaves it, he comes missing. That's it. Becomes missing. Whatever was in his room, not being revealed. I would love to know what was in his room to get my own vision, thoughts, theories, ideas on this. But trying to figure out or maybe even talk to the brother. I'd like to push into this case because that's the most one thing in the world, man, that really puts a hollowness into your soul is when someone is there and then they disappear. It's just saying the word disappear sends chills up your spines, stands the hair on your neck. Disappear. Just saying the word, man, makes you just bleh, give you the heebie-jeebies. And for this guy, right, he was with him that night, and then boom, gone. So, with that being said, like I said, if anybody got a better search-related way to find out about the murders of the owners of the Colonial Hotel present Betty Spring Road, I'd highly appreciate it. Other than that, though, man, this case here is another one, man. It just, totally blows your mind because there's not a lot of questions to be answered. There's not a lot of stuff to go on in this case. It's insane. No witnesses, no one interrogated, no one talked to, no one, all the basics of what should be happening is not there. But his body was found on February 21st, 73, which I'm going to see if I can get there, do a ghost hunt. See if I can get this Mark to talk beyond the grave, if he's seen or knew his murderer. And he had been stabbed and left to die on a broken down barbed wire fence. So, he was obviously being hunted. Someone was right after him. State police have never stopped investigating the case and hope someone will come forward with information. But, who knows? By this time, a lot of people could be passed on. Some people could be still alive, but no memory. Well, they just don't want to remember. But for them, for people that were at this party, and I'm sure there was a bunch of people. All right, even if they did get investigated, I mean, one thing is for sure. I mean, body language, probably people don't know how to do or use back in these days. I don't know. All I know is, man, I was born 70s. I, grew up out of the 70s, the late 70s into the 80s. And for some reason, I don't know, man, I've always kept my eyes open on the unexplained, bizarre, strange, let alone creepy, haunting. Something always sparked something in my mind to, keep my eyes wide open. But for this guy, and for the poor investigation I'm calling, I don't care. It just irks the crap out of me knowing that, right, the building that he lived in wasn't even looked into, let alone and if there was nobody throughout the city of Gardner, and it ain't big, any drifters been seen wandering. Back then, drifters were common, hitchhikers. But, hey, 50 years now, boy. 50 years of lost. And it's sad. But I'll keep it alive as much as I can. Like I said, I'm going to do a little mapping on this. But, unbelievable, though. Unbelievable. But I am going to try and get to this location. Hell, I might even call the police department to get an exact location. Because I'll tell you, I want to check this out. And, see what I get from beyond the grave. Take that 4K, baby. Do what I do best. But, till that next video, like I said, anybody got any info, can get me any info on the other murders. Colonial Hotel in Gardner, Betty Spring Road. I don't know how many times I switched the search words to see if I can come up with something. This was the only thing that came up, so And once again, as many times as I've checked murders around here and, everything, looking into what I can and what I do get, this one never came up either. So, a lot of cases I stumble upon looking for other stuff. And at that, when I'm looking back and past, and I ain't seeing nothing. It's like, that only goes to show how much this article, right? When was this article? 2017. And I've been doing a lot of searching on murders and mysteries and disappearances since then. And I've never heard this one up until, I don't know, whatever that intuition was at the Colonial Hotel that night. Something told me something was there. Whether it be this soul or the murdered owner's souls, but go figure. Start snooping around and get feelings, man. Things like this pop up. Insane. But I got that gift, I guess, so hopefully one day I can solve a freaking murder by this. It'd be freaking awesome. Until that next video, be safe, take care, always beware. You never know. Man, this stuff still happens to this day. And that's the most sad thing about it. You gotta keep your eyes open, people, and you gotta keep your fist of steel swinging. Out.